Hi, my name is Andrew. I think before I start, I just want to check how many of you are from the insurance line. Just put up your hand. Anybody? Oh. Okay, for some of you, if you are in AIA, for example, just before the AIG crisis, you probably know who I am because I was at that point in time the regional director of agencies in AIA Singapore. I left that job to join HSBC Insurance as their chief agency officer. So it was a job I held till I think 2012 when I was retrenched. So that was the first part of my story, the fact that I was retrenched. At this point in time, some of you may be asking, you know, maybe I'm very, very smart because why? I know how to leave AIA at a point in time to join HSBC Insurance when AIG was having some trouble. The truth is, at that point in time when I shift over to HSBC Insurance, I had no idea how bad the situation at AIG was. The fact that my timing was so good was only purely coincidental. But more importantly, if I was smart, I would not have been retrenched. The second thing is that some of you may be wondering, if you are an agent, how can you even be retrenched? And that's a funny thing because a lot of people, whenever I mention I'm from AIA or HSBC Insurance, the automatic connotation is that you're an agent. I was not. I was a corporate staff. My role as chief agency officer, for example, was that I was in charge of the agency distribution. That means I'm in charge of all the people who were selling for HSBC Insurance at that point in time, and my job was to report to the company their sales and so on. So as a corporate staff, I can be retrenched, and I was retrenched. Having said that, if I were to look back, I'm actually quite happy that I was retrenched. I can now control my time better because I really couldn't control my time very well when I was working. I can spend more time with my children, and more importantly, I can be at special events in their life, their milestone, which I couldn't. And I also can spend more time to appreciate my wife, go on dates with her, which, sad to say, I couldn't last time as well. But that's not the topic for today because I'm only given 4 minutes, and in that 4 minutes, I think it's more important that I share with you the things that I've learned in my journey since my retrenchment and perhaps how it applies to you. So at this point in time, when I was first retrenched, I remember asking myself what my options were. I think it's a natural thing to do, and it was exactly what I did. I told myself, one, I didn't want to work for anybody else. I didn't want to be an employee again, which means that if I didn't want, I would probably have to become a business owner. But I had another problem. I didn't want to be a business owner, at least 100% a business owner, because I was afraid that I may lose everything that I have already. I have not exactly very small commitments. I got a large family to feed. I got my parents, I got my in-laws, I got my wife who's not working, I got 3 children. And if that's not enough, I got 3 dogs also. Okay, and trust me, my dogs can eat a lot. So having said that, I felt that, it's one thing to be single and to risk everything that I have, and one thing to be married and to have a family and to risk their futures as well. So I didn't want to invest too much in any business that I want to start. So it draws me to the next step. Do I have any skills? And at that point in time, I was very, very shocked. Shocked because when I asked myself, the only skills after working for so long that I had was probably to be an employee. I don't know how to do any other things other than being an employee. So without any skills, I had to dig deeper. So I asked myself what my hobbies were. Okay, believe it or not, I like magic. I'm quite a good magician. Actually, I'm quite a good dog trainer as well. And that is my other hobby, which is also the reason why I decide as my first site to set up the Dog Training Singapore website. Okay, but at that point in time, I asked myself, can this make me a proper income, at least the income that I'm used to earning? And I concluded then that it couldn't. Okay, maybe today I would change my mind because after creating that website, I can see how much my dog trainers are earning, so I know I can make a very profitable income there, but at that point in time, I thought I couldn't. So that led me to another hobby that I have, which is very obscure maybe, and that was SEO, or what you call search engine optimization, or putting your page on page 1 of Google. Whether you believe it or not, at that point in time, it's something that intrigued me a lot, and everything hobbies that I have either intrigue me or allows me to impress people. And when you are able to put a page on page 1 and you show your friends, they are impressed. But my skill level at that point in time, unfortunately, is probably I can only rank for all those words that nobody else wants to rank for, the very simple and lousy words. But the commercial words, the words that everybody is going for, I can't touch it at all. So where I asked myself the 3 hopeful things that I have, the best was SEO. So I started on my journey. I need to find a mentor, somebody who can help me and guide me. So I started researching, and I found out that there was a very reputable school in the US. It's called the Search Engine Academy. And I asked myself whether I should fly even to the US to learn. And that's where when I went in deeper into the website, I found out, hey, they actually have a coach based in Singapore who can even certify people for advanced SEO. And the only person in Singapore, and that happens to be Mr. Fabian Lim. And that's how I landed up in his school. So it was a simple search around, which eventually led me to him, and eventually led me to signing up for that course. After I signed up for that course, the first miracle happened. Because, like I said, I've been playing with websites, but even if my site ever reached page 1, it's for very uncompetitive keywords, and it is for keywords that probably after 6 months to 1 year, then it goes to page 1. But after going for that course, actually the day that Google indexed my site, .trainingsingapore.org, the day that it was indexed, it was already on page 1 of google.com. And within 1 month, it was on page 1 of google.com.sg as well, including the top place, and it's been holding there since, without me having to do much on that site alone. Today, if you ask me, that site easily makes me 4 figures, nothing compared to what I used to be earning when I was a chief agency officer, but at least I don't have to do anything. And the best part about it all is that the skills that Fabian taught me that were used to build that site, I simply could rinse and repeat and build other sites. So Dog Training Singapore is not the only site that I have. It's the site that is publicly being shown, because I prefer to keep my other sites to myself. But I have today more than, let's just say I have a number of sites all on page 1, all making good money, and that's how I'm able to sustain my living. Having said that, today if somebody were to come to me and ask me to do, for example, SEO or anything for them, I can see immediately whether it's profitable, whether this is something that I should go into, because I can estimate how many people visit my website, how difficult it is to rank. All these things that I learned, everything is really from Fabian. Today, there are business owners who have come to me and asked me to do lead generation for them, some of which I reject because I only have 2 hands and 2 legs. I don't have time for everybody. I've got people asking me to do SEO for them, paying me 4 figures a month as retainer alone, which again I reject, because I feel that if I have limited time, the only time I want to spend is to work on my own sites. Today, I've got headhunters calling me to go to Indonesia, Malaysia, and even as far as China. Okay, again, I've been able to reject all of them. There's nothing to do with the skills I learned in IM, but more towards my previous job. But the fact is, I'm able to reject them because of the things that Fabian has taught me. Today, if you were to ask me every single thing that I know, how to make money for myself, I learned from one person, and that person is Fabian, which is why when he asked me to come today, I only said one thing: yes. The last thing I'd like to share with you is this word called trap. Because I was having such a cushy job, I really felt that it was a trap. A trap in the sense that you never felt that you need to learn anything else in life, because everything is taken care of by itself. The next month, the pay will come and everything will be wonderful. So, even though if you look at it, things may have worked out okay for me, have you ever imagined what it would have been like for me if I had known the things I knew, say 1 year or 2 years before I lost my job? If I've been able, for example, to have 10, 20 or 30 websites, all on page 1, all making good money, even before I got my retrenchment letter, how much more wonderful life would have been for me. It's just like learning how to drive. Would you want to learn how to drive first or buy your car first? Okay, if you buy your car first and you cannot pass your driving exams, it will cost you a lot of money. And that's what happened to one of my colleagues. He actually bought a car first and spent more than 5 months learning how to pass his exams. So every day he can only stay there and look at how beautiful his car is, but cannot drive. It is very, very costly. So my point is this. It's a very, very simple take home. You may be having a comfortable life now. You may be like me or better than myself. But the thing is that, does it hurt to learn a skill? Something that you can use, that you can count on yourself, because who is the best person to take care of you other than yourself? Does it hurt to be able to, because if you talk to insurance professionals, for example, they will tell you you need to protect your family, you need to protect your income. Okay, but that is on the assumption that something happens to you. What if something doesn't happen to you, but you become obsolete? Who is going to take care of you then? More importantly, I think maybe I did not share this with Fabian as well, but I felt that I'm probably in a very good position to share with you, who you should go to. Why? Because in my previous job, I attended a lot of courses, a lot of seminars. Okay, for internet marketing alone, I dare to share that I went to learn from 3 different people, one of whom is even a student of Fabian. And after learning, I realized why Fabian is a master and maybe she is the student. But having said all that, okay, if there is nothing else you take away from what I decide to say today, then whether you decide to join or not, okay, I can tell you that I do not have a single card, or I'm just doing this because of one word called appreciation. Though as I think of it, maybe one day I should negotiate with Fabian a card.
Sure.
Okay. Now, having said that, like I said, I'm sharing all this. I don't have to come out here and tell you I'm retrenched and all that. I'm sharing it from my heart, how I feel, and how I believe he has helped me to change my life, and how I believe he can help you to change your life. So ladies and gentlemen, basically think about what I've said, and think about what Shanice and Han Chong has said as well, and subsequently make your decision. And I wish you the best of luck. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew. Thank you.